is Teresita Blanco, the artsysister, and today I'm going to read you The House, or La Casa. You can read La Casa both in Barnes & Noble and in Amazon. Today we're continuing with, this is part 2 of chapter 3, because I didn't have enough time to read you the rest. Okay, so let's continue. She came to the children and she took their hand. Together they made their way past a natural garden and they came upon the river. The river was called Blanco, or white. Despite having such a name, it had brown coloring to it. The other name that it had was the chocolate of the widow. The coloring came from the rocks from close to the river, which showed from the color of the rocks. Inside its gentle banks, the children noted tiny fishes. By the time that the river reached its house, it had degraded into a small stream. It had many numerous rocks of different sizes. Stones on the floor were not rounded, but large, solid, flat slabs. The rocks protruding from the door had moss growing on them. The children moved from small rock to small rock, and they started a silly balancing act. They would try to get back and forth, taking as few steps as possible. You got extra points by trying to make it across the dry rock with little steps. As for Irina, she sat down on a rock and brought out a book she had taken for the library. The house had a true library with hundreds of classics. Over the years, many of the books had been thrown away for being in the way. Irina had read most of them, and she had personally discarded many books that did not agree with her. Most of them were books written by Anton Chekhov, and she didn't much care for Hemingway's writing, even though he was popular in Cuba. The book that Irina was reading was by Muna Muno. She had read it a couple of times, but she still enjoyed it. It was called Niebla, or Fog. Now she was reading. The book had quite a severe premise, but it kept her amused. It was mainly the dialogue. We have hardly any scene descriptions. It was quick but with not too much action. From time to time, Irina would look up from her little book to see what the children were up to. Lucero came up to her and said, "Can I have some paper?" Irina removed one of the blank pages from the book. Lucero handed it to Eufrasio. He bent the paper in two, and using his knee for support, he then licked the side of it. And once the paper was off, he gently separated the parchment. When he had two papers, he made with them two tiny boats. The boats floated gently by, and the rest of the day progressed just as uneventfully as the boats. The placidity of the stream and the laughter of the children at play all combined to relax Irina's tense nerves. There was no fear that the children might drown. The stream was barely a couple of inches deep. The only thing that broke the peace was Lucero's occasional coughing fit. This was quickly addressed by the river, and she would sit down and drink the clear, pure water. Eventually, the children and Irina were summoned for lunch. The family had super salty eggs and hot rice. Irina frowned and said to her daughter, "I told you to come in to make lunch." "I'm sorry, Mom, but you seem tired from the ride," said Angelica meekly. "I prefer to be tired than to eat bad eggs," said Irina. Lucero did not even try the eggs or the rice. She felt the rice with her hand, and she smelled the eggs over the top. She left the table and went to eat a piece of fresh Cuban bread. Lucero was quite particular about how she ate her bread. She would first remove the hard part with her nail, and once she had the white of the bread, she separated from the rice. She would eat the hard part first, and then finally the softest white part of the bread. For a drink, she had orange juice. And this orange juice, she drank it with a spoon instead of gulping down the glass. Eufrasio was not too particular about what he ate, but even he could not stomach hard rice. He placed the egg inside a piece of bread, but only then was he able to eat his lunch. After this defeat, Angelica felt that her time was better spent gathering new supplies. The fridge was still pretty empty since her last visit. She pondered on whether to take Lucero with her or not. In the end, she decided not to pester the girl. Eduardo stayed with the children while Angelica went to acquire supplies. Getting supplies in Cuba was a simple affair for people who did not mind starving. One simply had to offer a card, and then your basic basket was fulfilled by the store. You were not allowed to stockpile on anything. Angelica did fill her basic basket of rice, chicken, eggs, beans, and soap. After delivering these supplies, she went to fill her black basket. The black basket was anything else you acquired to the basic basket. From friends, patients, and family members, she acquired the steak, spaghetti, tomato sauce, and milk. Milk was something that was delivered daily, and it too was rationed. The only thing that Lucero drank with regularity was milk, and so she received extra rations over from her mother. When Angelica arrived home, the beans were already done, and the rice was a work in process. She found her husband reading to Lucero and Eufrasio. He had always made certain to read to his children whenever he got a chance. Aside from reading, Eduardo taught his children all the Catholic prayer. Eufrasio had all the rosaries memorized, as well as Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory Be, and the Nicene Creed, and the Novena to Our Lady of Loreto. Currently, they were reading The Golden Age by Jose Marti. The current story that they were reading was called The Black Dog. Lucero particularly liked the story of the dog. It was the reason why she requested to hear the story again. As for Eufrasio, he preferred the story called The Enchanted Crab. For now, the attention of the children was not focused enough for longer words. Just a few days ago, Eduardo had tried to read them Peter and Wendy. He thought that they would enjoy the book since they had liked the Disney movie of Peter Pan. Lucero had tuned out after a couple of pages, while Eufrasio had called the quiz after chapter 1. Eduardo had not tried to read a book a long book since then. It was only one of the many books running away in the library in the old ranch house. The library was beside the dentist's office, which still had a swivel shed on it. He tried to finish reading the book, but he got forward past chapter 3. It was around 5 when the wife finished her errand. She boiled some milk for the children. Eufrasio drank his milk out of a glass. As for Lucero, she drank on a baby bottle. She lay back on the couch and she rested her head on her mother's knee, and with one hand she held her bottle and with the other she held onto her mother's ear. When the meal was concluded, the TV was put on. It was the time for the afternoon cartoons. During Angelica's time, the TV used to have only Russian cartoons. It was later when the programming got diversified with some original programming to foster Cuban identity. The best representative of this law was Elpidio Valdez. Like Martí, he was always fighting against the Spaniards. As most children should, it had plenty of humorous overtones, despite taking place during the War of Independence. From the outside world, the approved programming included Tom and Jerry and a bunch of awesome of the Zuka anime shows. He-Man, Scooby-Doo, the Roadrunner, the Flintstones, the Pink Panther, the Jetsons, Godzilla, and all the Disney classics. There were only 2 channels on television. One channel always had nothing, the other occasionally had something watchable, but only at 6:30 p.m. and then again at 8:30. For late night hours, TV got good after midnight. Eufrasio many times wondered why the TV had 93 channels when they only had 2, 3, and 12, where only channels 2, 3, and 12 were usable. Channel 3 was normally reserved for the Atari. Only the basic clothing had been taken out. As with everything, one starts with good intention and then the heat of the day bogs down on you. You sort of forget what you were supposed to do in the first place. It was pretty hot inside the house as well. The children, after playing by the river, had changed into lighter clothing. With only a shirt and the undergarments, the siblings were both entranced by the television. Eduardo too was entranced, but he would never admit it. It wasn't every day he had some free time to spend it with the family. The family was eventually summoned to dinner. Since Lucero had not eaten lunch, she was served her favorite meal. She ate spaghetti with steak. The other had steak with black beans and rice. The meal itself was concluded rather quickly, as was tradition. The parents always had to eat quickly to get back to work. Irina did so because she despised eating cold food. The children also ate quickly in mimicry of their parents. When the meal was concluded, the children went to brush their teeth. Alright, we'll finish chapter 3 next time. Bye bye and God bless.